in the second part of the 20th episode of the Unnamed Political Podcast, we'll be discussing the recent Nevada Caucuses and the South Carolina primaries. I almost got those switched. Why can't they both be primaries or caucuses?
I wish. What's the difference? Iran-Iraq was the difference.
We'll be covering that up next.
Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning?
My fellow Americans.
Corporations are people, my friend.
Our country is in serious trouble.
I did not send classified material, and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified.
But man is not free unless government is limited.
Bringing you opinions on historic, current, and international politics. Welcome to the Unnamed Political Podcast.
So for the next segment of this episode, we're going to be covering the two recent major events that happened in politics in the election 2016 cycle.
Three.
What's the third one?
The death of our beloved Savior.
Of course.
But we'll be covering that later, yes.
In politics, the two major election events that happened were in Nevada and South Carolina. In Nevada, we had a Democratic Caucus.
Yes.
In Nevada, where it was a very close race. In the polls, it was like 50-50 between Bernie and Hillary.
They were neck and neck until Bernie finally eked out by 5%, which
I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be pretty close. I thought it was going to be pretty close, but that was a solid victory.
For Hillary, yes. This has kind of been declared as kind of possibly, this could be the sign that she's finally turning around, she's putting it behind her, the whole Bernie issue. And this could kind of be its collapse, because he hasn't been able to reach out to African-American and Latino voters as strongly as he would have liked.
I know we don't talk about, well, that's not part of this episode that I'm going to discuss right now, but the topic of super delegates, and that's why she's winning by like 500 or so delegates, is because all these super delegates, who are pretty much any elected officials of the party, they can be governors, former senators, former congressmen,
quite a few possible positions.
And they all support Hillary, and that's why she's winning by 500 or so delegates.
Yes, we've seen this meme going around the internet recently, but when you look at Bernie, he worked so hard to get all of the delegates in New Hampshire. He did everything he possibly could, and then right after he did it, let's not say the government, but the Democratic Party stepped in and said, you have too many delegates. We're going to take some and redistribute them to Hillary.
Exactly.
And, I mean, that's socialism. Let's see how he likes it.
I mean, I wish, because the Republican Party doesn't have super delegates. You win them by the primaries, right? They don't have super delegates. But
the Republican Party also has the issue of you can get broker conventions like we covered in 2 episodes ago. And we'll be going more in depth on the because we only cover the Republicans. We'll be explaining more on those.
I don't think Bernie has a chance with these super delegates.
I don't think so. I think that also the establishment will start to I think at first they thought it's not a threat. We don't need to worry about him. But then they started to think, holy crap, this guy is gaining a lot of momentum. But he's completely unelectable on a national level. Right. I mean, his policies simply do not work. And so what we're seeing is that they're probably going to eventually, if there was ever a chance, start to tell him, dude, back off. You're not going to win the national election. Hillary's our best and, at this point, only bet. Unless she gets indicted, in which case, I guess, dust off Joe Biden, get him out of the closet, and just stick him on the campaign trail.
Well, I mean, if they didn't have super delegates, it would literally be neck and neck, almost.
I think Joe Biden, though, might actually have a good shot if he just jumped in right now.
I don't think he's going to.
I mean, he has so many screw-ups. Gals telling people in wheelchairs to stand up. But what we're seeing, though, he hasn't any gaffes, and I think you have a lot of liberals who are saying, I'm disappointed with Hillary because she sucks, and I'm disappointed with Bernie because his policies are idiotic, and there's nobody else really to like. And you're also kind of seeing the Republican side because we have a lot of moderate Republicans, kind of like us, who are saying, I don't really like Trump that much.
No.
Not Cruz's biggest fan.
No.
And none of the other moderates really have a chance at winning.
Right.
And
Kasich.
Yep, Kasich is our one hope, and we'll be addressing why he is our only hope in a moment. But on to South Carolina.
Right.
We saw Trump, obviously.
Win by a huge margin.
Absolutely crushed it. And we've seen kind of close race for Cruz in second, Rubio in third. I believe that was Cruz second, Rubio third.
I think it might be Rubio second, Cruz third.
We apologize. We only really care about Donald Trump at this point.
It was definitely close. It came down to like 10%.
It was a race for second and third between Rubio and Cruz. Carson, he is just barely puttering along at this point. I think he might be suspending soon. Kasich is just holding on, really hoping that he can make it to Ohio, where he can hopefully win all of those delegates, because it's a winner-take-all. And then, sadly, we get to the most tragic event in this entire presidential race.
Jebediah Bush.
Several days ago, we lost a dear friend, a loved one, if you will,
Cherished.
a man who many of us considered a savior, a man who could redeem the legacy of the Bush.
A new hope.
Yes, our only hope. Yet sadly, he fell victim to the tyrannical aspirations of a 60-year-old robotic woman and an orange guy, an Oompa Loompa wearing a wig.
Jebediah Bush, kick the bucket.
He will be missed.
South Carolina primary.
God bless you, Jeb Bush. God bless you. Okay, so Jeb's gone. That's unfortunate.
On a serious topic, I really like Jeb Bush. He was my top pick for any Republican nomination.
I wake up every morning and I cannot comprehend that I live in a world without Jeb.
Because I was always like Bush, Kasich. That's your
Yeah,
ticket.
I thought that an ideal ticket would have been to Bush Kasich, but Bush was so low energy.
Yeah. If he acted like Trump and was very defensive and used the same techniques Trump used in the debates, I think he would be doing pretty well.
I think he'd be doing
But
well,
he
but
backs
he
off
wouldn't have
every
done
time.
it because, yeah, if he had even acted like his brother, I think he would have had better odds.
Yeah, and his brother and his father won the caucus in South Carolina, so it's kind of embarrassing that as a family member.
I think it's embarrassing. That
And he
he's
got
not president.
crushed, too.
Yeah. So, we are so sorry. George and George, please don't make fun of him too much. It's been hard.
That's a lot of wasted money, $155 million you got.
That's the other thing. That's what I was mentioning to somebody else. Just think about, we're going to need to start to wrap it up, but think about how much money is blown on these campaigns for people who don't even get to be the nominees.
Right.
It is insane what we're looking at. And we have probably, I think we do really, have the longest campaign of any country on earth, that, or any major developed country really, that we're seeing. I mean, recently in the Canadian elections, which we may be actually talking about Canada in a later episode.
Maybe.
Had their, I think it was like 10 weeks, right?
Yeah, it was very short.
It was, by our standards, but for them it was mind-blowingly long. 10 whole
was their longest
weeks.
election cycle.
Holy crap. 10 months isn't even half of our presidential campaign.
It's like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years.
Yeah,
We start thinking about it.
No, I mean, I remember literally in January of 2013, people were already saying, "Oh, it's Christie. He's going to be the nominee." I remember.
No, you're right.
I remember in November of, or not even November, in October of 2012, people saying, "Oh, this is all just leading up to Jeb Bush 2016. We know this is going to go." Mm-hmm. And, well, I guess.
All my hopes and dreams are crushed.
Yeah, all of our careful calculations and planning. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know if I can go on. The only thing that will keep me going is this podcast. And all of our viewer. Thank you for watching.
I hope Kasich does something.
I hope he does too. So I guess to add on a totally not dramatic note that I pre-prepared, if this election is telling us anything, it's that all of our predictions are turning out to be wrong.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. Okay, so we'll see you next time.
Wait, almost forgot something.
Our Instagram followers?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Jack.
How could I forget our many Instagram followers?
Yes.
Let me get the
Giving us all of our happy and hopeful comments, mainly about Jack's mom.
Very rude.
Yes, quite. All right, but we'll now be reading from hopefully some of the less profane followers of ours on our post to
most recent post
commemorate the death of the fallen Jebediah.
The following 5 will be read. Sorry.
Yes.
Damien Delta 5.
Delta 5. That is very cool. Sounds Greek letters.
Ben Master IQ.
Sounds like a smart name.
Noah.Mailer, that's spelled M-A-H-L-E-R. Shout out to you.
Thanks for telling the audience that.
Just if they wanted to follow him, you know?
Okay. Know what you owe us.
Hannah_Smith124.
Smith, great name. I believe it's the most common in the U.S.
And EV Sully 97.
Sully. I know a guy whose nickname is Sully. Wonderful, wonderful person. All right, those are our Instagram followers. We'll see you next time, hopefully with happier news. Maybe Jeb will rise on the 3rd day. You never know.
Hey, maybe.
Yep. I'm Clark Walburger.
I'm Jack Horvath.
See you next time. Man, how come Jeb is gone? I can't go on.